Hello and welcome to PJNet TV. And this video segment I call My Perspective and Comments. And folks, we've had a busy week. A lot's been going on in our nation and in the world. I'd like to start out though with the gifts that the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi are planning to give to President Trump. I want to focus on the Democrats right now because they're packaging up a nice box full of coal for President Trump. And Nancy Pelosi has a very special gift that she's preparing. She's having her aides right now go online and grab the San Francisco poop maps, and she's sending them out to package up a gift for President Trump. Well, folks, in all seriousness though, San Francisco definitely has some issues. And here's a prime example of the when liberals are running a city government, or they're running the state and they're far left liberals. These are the type of things that are happening, where the city has gotten to the point now where lawlessness seems to be taking place. The police are told to leave this group or that group alone and really not enforce the laws. And this is what's happening. So now we have crime is running rampant there in San Francisco, and it's really come to a very high area of concern. As a matter of fact, the medical association canceled a convention that they were planning on having in San Francisco. It's something that they've planned, that they've had going now for some years, but they've canceled. Why, you may ask? Because of the crime that's surrounding that convention. When you think of the tents, when you think of the hypodermic needles or the syringes and the piles of poop that's surrounding that area, what company wants to send their people into that area? And as a matter of fact, this particular group, the Medical Association, one of their members was actually physically accosted a year or so ago in that area. So they've canceled their convention for San Francisco, and they're picking another venue. Very concerning when you think that San Francisco has a $9 billion annual income that's derived from tourism. And this is this situation, which they haven't started to correct, will be affecting them in their pocket. And think of this, folks. I mean, the tourism it's gotten so bad that it wouldn't be so far-fetched that the tourism organization starts printing out things to hand out to potential tourists as they come, and part of their handout will be a map to avoid the piles of poop that's in the area, or the tent cities that are constructed all around San Francisco. So it's definitely something that could really hit the city of San Francisco in the pocketbook for sure. But talking about piles of poop and poop maps, I guess I'm going to have to stay kind of on the same subject here for a little while longer. But I'd like to talk a little bit about, yes, you may have guessed it, the impeachment circus that's taking place. Just today, a partisan vote right down the line, the Democrats who are in control in the House voted for impeachment on 2 counts. And again, I shake my head and say, wow, how did we get here? Well, we'll quickly recap. When President Trump was elected, the war began, and they said, we'll find a way to impeach him. This presidency, the millions of people that voted for Donald Trump, we're going to snatch that vote right away from him. So what did they do? They went after Donald Trump for the last almost 4 years to dig up this, that, and the other. And it all started with Adam Schiff back in Mueller, and week after week on TV, yes, Mueller has the goods, he has the evidence, and that drumbeat from Schiff, from Nadler, Pelosi, all the liberals and the liberal media said yes, he needs to be impeached. There's so much evidence. And what happened? Robert Mueller comes, lays out the facts of his investigation. No collusion with Russia. But that wasn't the end. The Democrats weren't going to give up. They were looking for anything. So what do? We now have the Ukrainian phone call. The Ukrainian phone call, which the Ukrainian president that was on the other end of the phone call said that there was no quid pro quo. He said that he wasn't pressured. But the liberals and the liberal media, they won't take his word for it. So what did we see? We saw the Democrats tried to make this a trial. And they tried to make it look like a trial. The only difference is that Adam Schiff in the back room was prepping all these witnesses, and the Republicans were not allowed to have any other rebuttal witnesses. Something that in a real trial that wouldn't have taken place. It was all one-sided. The Republicans had no avenue to be able to mount a defense or witnesses that would refute what the Democrats were trying to push with their witnesses. So what did we have? Hearsay after hearsay after hearsay. Oh, I heard from a guy who told me about another guy who heard Donald Trump on the phone. That type of witness, which would be in a real court, would be thrown out. But this wasn't really a courtroom issue. It was political. It's all been political, and they've tried to go after Donald Trump that way, and that's exactly how this vote went down. All political. Political Democrats voted to impeach, and the political vote of the Republicans, there's no evidence here for impeachment. And what's going to happen? It's going to go to the Senate. Mitch McConnell is going to, well, from what I hear right now, Mitch McConnell is just going to say up or down vote, pass, fail, he's guilty or no, and that's it. But the people in the know, so to speak, have already said that right now the Republicans are all on board, and they're not going down this crazy road of impeachment, and they're together. Surprising that the Republicans are together, but it's not going anywhere. Now, there's been another thought, and President Trump has hinted that he wants a trial. And there's a lot of people out there that are saying, wait a minute, with all that the Democrats have done, the way they've done it, the way that they have done it, going after Trump this way, needs to be brought out, needs to be, the American people can see what other witnesses should have been called, like Hunter Biden, like Joe Biden, like Adam Schiff, for instance, and how he prepped. Wait a minute, who did he prep? The whistleblower. And what happened to the whistleblower? So one of the first witnesses I think that people would like to see is, let's see this whistleblower and let's hear from him. because there's a lot of evidence that he had nothing, and it was just accusation. So we have that. Busy week, all the media, all the political commentators have that's what they're focused on, is this impeachment inquiry, and that's what it was, folks, strictly show. And I'd like to talk a bit about a restaurant chain, ChickFilA. And they have been in the news, and many people have been talking about ChickFilA and their stances as of late, and the funding of some of the pro-family and pro-life organizations. They're pulling back. They're pulling back from the Salvation Army and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And from what I'm hearing, they have been putting some monies and giving to the Southern Poverty Law Center, for one, and Planned Parenthood, and the LGBTQ community. And a lot of people have been concerned and a little troubled, and Franklin Graham had placed a call to the CEO, founder and CEO, Daniel, Cathy, and spoke with him. And initially there seemed to be, Franklin tweeted, I guess, out that ChickFilA was still a company that was pro-family, but after that conversation, there seemed to be a consistent move to other group funding different areas that seemed to be against the family, pro-family, and pro-life. So I just bring this up to, I'm going to keep my eye open on this company. To be honest with you, we just received in our area up in upstate New York a ChickFilA franchise that has come in, and there is another one coming in. So I have not eaten a ChickFilA sandwich, but I've heard it's a good quality sandwich. Am I calling for boycotts or anything like that? No. I mean, this is a company that they can do what they want with their profits. But I think that many Christians have embraced this company for their pro-life and family stance. And many have driven by a fast food restaurant that were closer to them just so that they could grab a ChickFilA meal there. So there has been some customer loyalty in the Christian community for ChickFilA, and I think there is some concern on is this what's going on with this company stance? And a scripture comes to mind, and it's in Matthew chapter 13. And Jesus is telling a parable of the farmer, the sower of the seed. Now, this is for the word coming into an individual, and a individual person taking that word and embracing, and how that the seed, God's truth, is the farmer is spreading that seed, and it lands in different areas. But I'd like to compare this to what's been going on in ChickFilA and Daniel Cathy. Now, this company has started out, they've even with their pro-life and pro-family stance, and there was many groups that had come and had some issues with ChickFilA. They still grew. They were still expanding, and even though that they were getting some criticism from LGBT and others, So they had a very strong stance for pro-family issues and pro-life. I think what's taken place from what I've heard is that Daniel, Cathy may have, and there are, as the company grows, new individuals come on board on the board in leadership, and some changes for some philosophies of the company. And again, to talk about the sower of the seed, where the seed can hit stony ground, where it just doesn't take hold, or that there are situations, there are stresses, like the sower putting out seed in the field and having the seed start to grow, come up, and then the weeds and other plants grow up with it. And I guess for me, I kind of look at maybe that might be a comparison of what may be taking place. Daniel, Cathy, leading this company for a company that, yes, selling a great product, a great restaurant, but the leadership coming on board with him, bringing maybe some different ideas, some expansion ideas. I've heard that they were talking about moving into Canada, maybe into Europe, and doing the things that would allow them for that expansion. So changes are taking place. When pressures come and you get that constant, drumbeat to change or to change your value in certain areas, the pressures that may have come forth has swayed Daniel, Cathy. So I'm hoping, and that in God's kingdom, in here on earth, where God wants to bring everyone into his family. And if someone drifts astray, and there's an issue where they're missing the mark, God is there to restore. And I believe that the Daniel, Cathy, and the strong business model that he has built, there can be some changes, and maybe he's hired individuals in leadership roles that might be wanting to take the company into another area. So do I say stop enjoying a ChickFilA meal? No. Because many of those franchises and the franchisees that are in those stores, you can think of them too. I mean, people that want to give a pro-family atmosphere. So I just want to kind of update you on this success story, because it is a success story. And what is the only thing that was troubling for me is that even though the pressures came to them, and they were facing some criticisms from the LGBT community and pro-life groups, they stuck strong, and their company grew even with some of those pushbacks to ChickFilA. So I'm hoping that this is something where Dan, Cathy can take a look at the direction of his company, and that there can be a reversal, and ChickFilA can continue on. I believe that they, even with some of these challenges, that they have a good product. So I will keep my eyes open for what will be taking place in the months to come with ChickFilA, and I just hope that there is maybe a reversal and a rethink of their business model and who they are supporting with their profits. And that's my perspective and comment.